For my final studio tour, I wanted to start by looking through my sketchbook to show the development through the term and how my original urge to work with viruses and diseases have transformed. I excluded my works that I felt did not fit as well, such as the breasts and cancer cells for my first submission. I took many notes during meetings and tried to be sure to take the constructive criticisms from my peers and professors alike. I would experiment with the changes, and if I felt the changes would be beneficial, I would include them in my next works. The photographs that I took and decided to install took many trials of printing. I was unhappy with the sizes or the colors weren't quite right. Finally, I was able to settle on the larger prints as installation pieces. I knew that I wanted to include my video, The Beautification of Disease. However, I was unsure how I wanted to have it viewed as an installation. I decided to play with a few different options. First, I tried a large flat screen TV. I did not like this. It was too centralized, and I felt that it was not big enough to overwhelm the viewer. I think that if I had the resources, I would have chosen a multitude of smaller, older-style tube TVs. Instead, I attempted to project the video on a large scale. I enlisted the help of Ben for this, and we tried to enlarge the projection. This was also impossible due to space constraints and the lack of ability to utilize the college spaces due to COVID-19. Instead, I decided to improvise and take feedback I had been given to move through the installation. For my new video, Recurring Mistakes, The Virus Room, I projected my first video onto my installation. I moved all of my individual sculptures around the virus room to play with the layout and make it less linear. I had originally hung all of my viruses individually, spaced out and in a uniform fashion. This did not lend to the feeling of chaos I wanted to exhibit. My large black centralized rectangle, which was noted to be unreadable in the first video, also did not make the final cut. In the end, as an added layer of multitudes, I played my original track from my first video and layered multiple tracks on top of each other. This effect is very jarring. I decided to exclude my first video from my portfolio, as I feel the second one is much more inclusive of my multiples theme that I have been building on since the beginning of term.